Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on ASTV On the Ice. A little bit different of an edition today. It's the 8 p.m. version. We don't do this very often, but our guest was on the ice, actually. He literally just got off his first couple of skates with the goaltenders down in Pilot Mound, Manitoba, the PMHA, the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, finally getting its feet inside some skates on the ice. First introductions. Super exciting for not only the players and the coaches and the teachers, but the parents, because they get to finally send their son or daughter off to a CSSH school down in Pilot Mound with hopes and dreams. And not only that, but just a fantastic year set up for hockey, as well as becoming truly a great student athlete here in Manitoba. Now, these players come from all walks of life, all over North America, as Gordy will tell us, and he's going to give us the rundown of how excited things were for everybody involved in the small town over these last 48 hours. So please welcome a good friend of ours and a friend for many, many years, Mr. Gordy Thomson with the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy team. And as promised, there is Gordy Thomson now. He's still at the rink. Gordy, did you have a chance to warm your feet up and warm the mitts up after getting off the ice?
Not yet. This is going to be my warm time, so I appreciate having the opportunity to get warm. Yeah, we just wandered off the rink, and here we are. It's been great. Apparently, I'm going to be the hardest working guy here with three teams. Everybody else has got one team, and I got three of them. So, but it's been great. The kids are wonderful. I only do this for one reason, the kids, and boy, they sure haven't let me down.
It certainly is, the battle of being an emotionally set up goaltender, but then having to be the goaltending coach puts you in a different breath altogether, Gordy. Am I correct?
Yeah, pitching coaches, field goal kicking coaches, goalie coaches, kind of in a different place. You're sort of there to support, lead, guide, hug, whatever it takes to get through the day. And it challenges every thought and every inch of your sort of past and your experience and love for the people and the game and all that stuff. It's all bunched into one place. And we're simply trying to do the best we can to move the players forward, win some games, have some fun, and get them to the next level of their career.
Before we talk about this year's crop, the three teams down in Pilot Mound, you and I go in the Wayback Machine here. Gordy, can you recall your first training camp with the Winnipeg Jets 1.0 and how nervous you were, who your mentor was, and any funny stories you can recall from when you were a bright young teenager, early 20-year-old?
Wow, 21 years old, 1972. Got a call from, well, in fact, the funniest part of this whole deal was before I signed with the Jets or even got a tryout, when they started signing players, and Bobby signed at Portage and Maine, and Normie Bowden signed, and Joe Daly and Ernie Wakely both signed, NHL guys, NHL goalies. I went, holy cow. I said to my dad, I said, we better go get tickets. This is going to be pretty exciting hockey. All these ex-NHL guys, some AHL guys, got you Manitoba playing against. So it's going to be great. So we were preparing, sort of trying to figure out how we're going to buy tickets to this new league and new team in Winnipeg, I get a phone call to come and try out. Well, my heart jumped 75 feet, and the rest was history. I made the team, and luckily, and we was there for a few years, but that was exciting as hell. And there's a lot of funny stories. A lot of them I can't tell because I think we'd be thrown in. We'd be thought of as less than perfect. But there's lots of good stuff there. And for a young guy, I came out of North End, Winnipeg. Played community club hockey at Northwood Community Club. Played at West Kelowna North Stars for 2 years. had a tryout with the Los Angeles Kings. Didn't make the team, didn't make a farm team, came home kind of sad and career may be over, played with the Mohawks for 1 year in St. Boniface. And then lo and behold, the next year, 72, 73, the Jets came along. And so my career was resurrected, and I had a great time, and I lived kind of a dream life from that point on.
You say we can't tell a lot of those stories on air, and I agree, because I've heard several of those Jet stories from my days at sitting at weddings with Joe Daly or hanging out at the local watering hole. And it's a good thing you can't wear white after Labor Day, right, Gordy?
There you go.
There we go. We're wearing black. We're getting ready. The last 2 days, tell me about some of the emotions, some of the things that some of these players would be feeling, perhaps potentially because this is their first time away from home.
Oh, yeah. For 3/4 of our group, it's the first time away from home. So we've got 60 kids this year, an extra team. So a good 40 to 50 of them, somewhere in that lump in there, 3/4. Yeah, that's their first time away from home. So we've got a real opportunity to kind of give them a first good look at and a best look, as our people look after these kids really well. A best look at how it can be when you go on the road and you live with other people, and how much other people care about your child or me as a player. And it's really neat. It's scary for the kids. There's no question. For the first day or two, I know that maybe even a week or so, we know that the kids are glad to be away from their parents. They good riddance, they're gone. But after a while, they get they just miss being at home, being the home stuff. So it is a bit of a challenge, and traditionally we do lose a player or two, to loneliness, and they go home. But we hope we don't lose any of this group. That we've got. This is a real fine bunch of young people, and the new team has brought some energy that we haven't had in the past. They're a bit younger, the boys, and they're just full of P&V and off, ready to go.
Tell us a little bit about the geography that covers some of where these players come from, not just Manitoba, but Canada, the United States as well, some of the players perhaps.
Yeah, obviously we got a few players from the States, not many because of COVID. They've just been allowed recently to come up here, of course, a month or so. But no one was sure. And of course, down there they're playing hockey. Doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter to them, and that's sort of scary. But okay, that's another issue. So they're able to play down there for the most part, and so to come here would be kind of a maybe. They weren't sure if Canada was going to do these things. Well, we've been vaccinated pretty well, so we are going to do them, and we hope that all works itself out. But so we got a few kids from the States. Certainly Western Canada and Nunavut and Yukon, Northwest Territories. We've got the bulk of our team comes from this area, so the West and the North. And then we've got, and interestingly enough, we picked up a few kids from Ontario this year, kids that are unhappy with their scenario in Ontario, or I guess that rhymes, but or they're just looking for something different, small. A lot of people are looking for something smaller, so they're not caught up in a big city, and they can get lost in it. And so we certainly offer that, and that takes me to our young guy. We usually get one or two real distant foreign kids coming to play with us. Last year we had an Australian boy. This year we've got a young fellow from Taipei, Taiwan, and a city of 2 million. And this is where social media comes in, and the media in general, and passing out the message. We announced in April the formation of our U18 team, and lo and behold, these folks in Taiwan were looking for a team in Canada for their only child to come and play hockey. He's 13. His name is Shui Chen. He's a cute little guy, and he's just watching him. He's a pretty good. His dad said he was pretty good. The neat part about the story is that the Canadians that live in Taiwan and play hockey over there, and there's not a lot of them, but those that do all said to them, you need to go to Canada to learn to play, or North America to learn to play, because you're not going to learn here. We haven't got enough competition, yada, yada. So they started looking for a team. They looked at BC, just outside of Vancouver. They really didn't want to go to a big place. They wanted to go to a smaller place. And then the announcement came across Facebook that we had picked up, this new team. Well, they jumped all over it, made the phone call to Rod Collins, and it's history. They came up here in August, the boy and his dad. They isolated for 2 weeks. Then the dad went home and had to isolate again for 2 weeks back home before he went to school to teach. And Shuey's here, and he's playing on a hockey team, and he's a pretty good hockey person. We're looking forward to having him.
That's fantastic news.
Yep.
Great to see that we're still reaching hockey players all over the world. You talk about the small town vibe, the small town feel, Gordy. Is that a big attraction? And also, does it feel like it's easier for some of these players coming from smaller communities? Like you mentioned up in Yukon and Nunavut and small towns. Does it feel like that transition is made easier considering the size of Pilot Mound and the community feel that the town represents?
Yes, no doubt. We've got a young girl, Lily, from Whitefish Bay, Ontario, just close to Kenora. So it's an indigenous community. We've got kids from small little towns all over Western Canada and the north, and yeah, it's easier because they understand small. They get it. A kid. Some of the kids coming from, or not the kids so much. Kids are they're pretty easy. The parents are go, holy cow! I didn't realize 600 was this small. 600 people live in this little space, and it's this small. And the stores aren't open, on a long weekend after 3:00 in the afternoon. Why is that? Well, there's nobody to buy anything. The people want to buy something did it in the morning. They're up with the cows and doing what they're doing with the animals, or on the farm, or wherever what they're doing. So it's really different. But yeah, the people from small towns and small places get it really easy. The other folks are kind of a little bit of shock. It's a pleasant shock. It's not a bad thing, because they literally, you walk everywhere here. You don't have to have a car. You don't need to, in town. Kids walking back and forth to school. It's a quarter of a mile uphill both ways, apparently. As it should
Harder
be.
in the snow. I get that.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. And so you go to the rink. It's all there. So they when you realize it's that compact, they feel good about that, because now the kids can't get lost. They can't get lost in a big place where they wander off somehow, wherever that may be. You might lose them, and for hours. You're not going to lose them, but you're going to lose them for hours. Here, literally, there's just nowhere else to go. So they're here. We've got them, and they're busy.
Is the town ready for 3 hockey teams to start playing this month?
The organization is. And it's a small organization. We, added coaches, but not a lot of other ancillary people. Now, you're right. The town, asking that question, the town is doesn't have, the town's limited to human resource in particular. There's a lot of seniors in these small towns now. It's an aging population for the most part. The kids have gone off to school, and then they go off to work somewhere else. So there isn't a lot of resource when you want to get extra cooks or helpers or whatever, an athletic therapist. These people just don't exist here, because they're off where they're needed by more people. So, you wouldn't put a McDonald's here because there's not enough people to sustain it. Well, that's the same thing. You've got this hockey academy here, and it's a tough thing to sustain, because in the hotel, and there's a limited number of people that can and will and want to work, and so it's a bit tough. But the organization is they're on top of all of this stuff. They deal with the league, they deal with COVID, they deal with the American states, every one of them, the Canadian provinces, our own Hockey Manitoba guys. They're dealing with all of the school. I mean, they literally put all the U15 team in the high school. They just opened up another room instead of sending them to Crystal City for whatever reason. logistically it made sense just to hire another teacher, which the academy pays for, and put all the kids in the 20 kids in a single room and let them go at it there. So they're all within walking distance of their home and their billets and whatnot. The U15s are, and of course the dormitories are the same situation. Walk.
Certainly, it's a setup unlike any other, and clearly the definitive pinpoint accuracy when it comes to athletes and student athletes focusing on the task at hand. Like you said, a small town doesn't allow for a lot of distractions, and it certainly keeps the players on their toes, knowing that they have a simple schedule of school, preparation, sleep, and hockey. So it's simple as that. We're going to talk about some of the feelings and some of the discussions that you were able to see and hear firsthand in these last couple of days right after the break. Stay with us here on the ice with goaltending coach and true friend, Gordy Thomson. Back with Gordy Thomson of the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. Gordy, you're managing 3 sets of goalies, but all these players, for the most part, it's their first time they've seen their coaches, the other fellow players, teachers, locker rooms, and the ice and everything. How does everything look? How was the feel, the aura in those first couple of days? Because I know the academy certainly rolled out the red carpet in front of Blackjack Stewart Arena.
Yeah, the first day. Well, first the kids are so excited to come to another place, and they wanted to be here and all that stuff. Then there's the ice time. They want to get on. I got in here on late Saturday afternoon, and right as I was pulling up, a car from one of the players from California had just pulled in the parking lot. So I got to meet the parents and the young guy and a U15 player. And yeah, they were excited to come to Pilot Mound, Manitoba and play hockey. And so, but the excitement for everybody. And then the parents are always kind of a little bit sad or a little bit leery, letting their kids go. For the most part, they're leery. Some of them are happy, but for the most part, they're letting their one or two. They may have 2 or 3 children, but one of the goalkeepers is an only child here, and I'm going. The parents they're still here, and they're probably going to hang on for another couple of days because they're going to miss their kid, right? So, but the excitement around it, and then there's of course all the newness. We have the dressing room reveal. No one sees their dressing room until the whole team does together. So on Saturday evening when we got here early, because Sunday evening, the rink was open and every kid that was here was on the ice. They got their skates on, they had their shorts on, and they didn't have hockey stuff. They had their stick with them, and off they went to skate around the rink. They didn't care, it didn't matter, and the parents loved it. It's the smell of the arena, the cold, even it's 25 above outside, and the cold, and the all that good stuff, that we missed a lot last year. That all comes up, and so people are excited and leery, and there and a lot of questions. They want to see the coaching staff. They get to meet the coaching staff. We have a nice 20-minute orientation as a big, huge 60-player group with all the parents, and a lunch that the Hockey Academy puts on for everybody that was there. And then each team goes off, and the parents and the kids go off with their coach. They have another half an hour with those guys. And so they get a real good sense at who the coaches are, who the staff is, and what they can expect from our organization. And it's a really neat. It's good to have, because you come to a hockey season and go, okay, another hockey season, but then the kids come and the excitement comes and you're ready to go.
how important is to have the coaches with their initial response to the players, but then getting the players together right off the hop saying, okay, you're here, we have a purpose, let's get on the ice right away and let's start moving right now.
Yeah, that's really important because everybody wants that, and the hockey guys know that. The kids are only here. I mean, in the kid's mind, he's only here for one reason: hockey. In the parents' mind, he's here for education and hockey. so already. I mean, one of my goalkeepers says to me, grade 12 goalkeeper says they went to school for 1 hour today for orientation. She says, geez, I'm not looking forward to going to school tomorrow. Like, you've been there one hour. Come on, people. So the kids are here to play hockey. They want to get on the rink. They want to get in the fitness area. They want to, and so the player, the coaches get them all doing that. But our dorm mom and our dorm staff, they hold a kind of a social deal where everybody gets together, and the players, the boys and the girls and whatnot, they have they're having karaoke. Everybody's going to try and sing. Okay, well, that's kind of embarrassing. That's good. And so there you go. And so they dream up some games and get everybody intertwined. But between the ice time on Sunday evening, where those kids all met, and literally nobody knew anybody until they got on the ice, and then they were all best friends. Like, the puck kind of is a magnet for friendship. And then the next day they all met new people, and then they became friends right there. I mean, off track with your question, but it's a really neat deal.
It's right on point with it, Gordy, because there's life, like the life and the philosophy of what a hockey player does off the ice is it's such an enigma. We don't know. And we see all the professional life and what they do, but for these young stars that are in their teenage years and first time away from home, learning to spread their wings for their first time, and here they are doing it in a town of just under 700 with the opportunity to travel, hopefully out west to all the cities and towns that they can to over the course of the season and CSSHL work. I mean, the excitement has to be, it's uncontrollable. But these coaches and this program truly does a great job maintaining the focus on athletics and academics, which is great. Your initial conversations, Gordy, thus far with the goalies, with some of the players, some of the parents, if you had to describe some of them, what would you say in the last couple of days has been the most impressive, but also just the most comfortable for you to have with these different groups of people?
Well, I'll talk about the goalies at the end, but it's just in general, the questions from the parents about the things that are important to them for their kid, right? And so their child. So they'll ask, all sorts of things, but most of the questions get answered by seeing the facility and seeing what they're moving into, seeing the kitchen staff working, seeing the hotel, seeing the arena, and going, oh, this is way better than we thought. They're really excited. And then the dressing rooms are really impressive, and they're very professional, et cetera, and kept clean. And there's a lot of rules and regulations. Then you add the COVID thing, you add that whole big mess of that. And the kids are good with that. Kids are good. Some moms and dads are having a tough time still, but the kids are all, whatever we got to do, we got to do. From the goaltender side, and keeping in mind my goalies are my goalies, our goalies. I got a boy from Chicago, a boy from Ottawa, a girl from Toronto, two boys from Manitoba. One from Thunder Bay and one from just south of Altona, Manitoba. And then I got two kids from a girl and a boy from Alberta. So we've got a mix of kids coming from everywhere. We've got a mix of BIPOC kids. We've got all sorts of nationalities and colors, and it's wonderful. They're going to get to meet everybody. They're going to learn new stuff. But the overall deal is that they're coming to a place where they can be on a team. They're going to proudly wear the buffalo on their chest and go out and try really hard to win games and learn and be better players. And that comes from everybody. And the parents are excited to put them in a program that's a little bit more disciplined than they might have had at home, because we've got them the whole time. They're not going home after a game or whatever. They sort of lose touch with team stuff. This all team here. This is 24/7 team, and that's a really neat. That's a bonus for us.
No doubt. And a bonus for you is also to have them and some of these coaches involved in their academics. I mean, Coach Nixon is actually one of the new teachers at PMCI. Coach Carroll's is a teacher, but she's just in a neighboring city, a neighboring town.
Yep.
So the curriculum and the academic side is certainly on point. And these players have to remember that without their proper, grade levels, they don't step on the ice. And they learn that really quickly with the academy, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about, it's education, hockey, and then real life. And we stress that all the time. If you look at our website, it talks about the education first. It's always education first. And, the ice time is kind of like the leverage, right? Your marks aren't good, or you're going to be naughty over here, do something over there, then your ice time might be taken away from you. And for a hockey player or any athlete, taking away their sport from them is it's horrible. That just can't happen. So the leverage goes. The hockey is the leverage of getting them to go to school, doing well, making sure they pass. And I'm surprised that I don't know why I'm surprised, but academically, most of the kids are 80% and up. They very seldom do we get a player in here. And again, they're players from everywhere and every culture, blah, blah, blah. And they are good in school, or they know how to work hard in school. So we get them that way, and they come out at least the same or better, hopefully better at the end of each year.
PilotMoundHockeyAcademy.com is where you will find the 3 rosters for this upcoming 21-22 season, as well as some headshots, some mugshots, if you will, some team photos, and all the updated info in terms of schedule, rosters, and protocols that are being followed at Blackjack Stewart Arena. Gordy Thomson, what's on scale for the rest of the week? Is it just getting more introductions into the life at PMCI and then life and the schedule of playing hockey daily?
Yeah, tomorrow, I think tomorrow is day one of the same old till next June. It's get up in the morning, get breakfast, get to school. The U15 team practices in the morning, so they'll come to the rink for an 8:30 practice till 9:30, and then they're in school from 10:10 for the rest of the day. So their school starts a little bit, they're of course accommodated because of the hockey, but they can do that because of the special arrangement with teachers and other things. So, and then the older teams go to school in the morning. 2:45, the boys go on the ice. The girls come in there an hour later at 4:00, and then everybody comes for supper at 5:30, and then at 6:00 to 7 is a break, and then 7 to 8 they have a study hall in the dorms, so they're locked in and sound is off, and they're working at something. And then after 8:00, a little bit of free time. 10:00, it's shut off the lights and off we go. And that's the daily routine.
Rinse, repeat, add the bleach if you have to. Make sure the jerseys have a little bit of Downy in them. Do me a favor, say hi to Ernie Sutherland for me and the Collins, Mr. McConnell as well, and everybody that's involved. Truly miss seeing you guys in person, as we all do. Hopefully that changes very soon. But good luck this season, Gordy, and look forward to getting the updates as the season progresses.
Well, thank you. And just so you know, our first exhibition games, the girls are playing on Sunday afternoon, this Sunday the 12th, at home, I think against Central Plains. They're one of the AAA teams locally. So that's our first time. And then lots of games every weekend and after that. And then the league starts first week of October.
Yeah, can't wait for it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be something looking forward to doing. Gordy, I can't say anything else. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Right on the ice, ASTV with Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Dokes Bulk Fuels, Case Financial, Toby Hockey, and of course, the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy for everything we do here on ASTV, bringing more goodness to the greatness. Gordy, thanks so much. Good luck this weekend, and try and get some sleep and fix that tooth, will you?
I will do that. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody, on ASTV. Take care of yourselves and your neighbors, and have a great rest of the evening. Bye-bye for now.
Good night.
Welcome to Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.